Find out if this is the time, if it's your time. That's probably the best advice we have right now. Is
sharing with real estate agents how to grill loan officers, this setting expectations. There's maybe.
And we all know rate is important, right? Because that is a part of the calculation, but is that the only thing? So, hey everybody, welcome to the Renown Mortgage Podcast. I am Sean.
And I'm Justice.
And we are so excited you're here this week. Actually, this week, we're doing something a little bit different. So obviously, we're basking still in the glow of our Seattle Seahawks win. We're not going to talk about that because I know some of you might not be feeling that right now.
Reigning champions.
Reigning, okay. He did it, not me, everybody, right? Justice at renownmortgage.loan. Anyway, but we're super excited because there's a lot of great stuff that's going on in the market right now. The market has shifted, JR, as you have seen. We're starting to see rates dip into places that we haven't seen in the last few years. We actually saw high fives in some situations. This is really, really good news. We're starting to see at least a move in the right direction. How are you feeling, and what are we seeing right now in the refi world?
We're definitely seeing refinance applications tick up. I mean, from a national perspective, we've seen that the applications are up, like 60% of all mortgage transactions are all refinance applications. So it's not just us that's feeling it, the rest of the market's feeling it. And, it's about gosh darn time, for interest rates to soften up a bit. There's definitely, people that have bought homes and not necessarily that it was a requirement for people to have rates come down for them to be able to refinance, but there was certainly a strong hope. It was hey, we don't need it, but I've been waiting. I've been advised. All the economists have been telling us that it's coming. So I'm starting to get a little bit impatient that I haven't been able to refinance yet and get my interest rate from my 7.25% or 7.5%, and it hasn't quite penciled.
Right.
Now we're having those conversations, getting some people into some high fives to low six interest rates, and that's certainly some payment relief, and also just kind of checking a box for a lot of consumers that are
totally.
I feel like I've been waiting to get my payment down. Now I can check that off my list, and that's kind of what we're seeing.
Well, because that's who you'd say some of those people are, and you might even be able to speak out, maybe who others would be, but definitely those people that are, in the sevens. Right? They were in the sevens, or they were in the sevens and they were ready to go a while back, but maybe the credit score wasn't there. Maybe some people that are dealing with mortgage insurance and they may have a shot now that enough time has gone by that they might be able to. Who are some of the people that, I think I kind of just glossed over there, but any other people that might be hey, we could benefit from giving Renown Mortgage a call, getting Justice on the horn or one of our team on the horn and seeing, hey, do I fit in this? This might work for me?
Absolutely. I think anyone that either has built enough equity that, there can always be different loan structure changes. Could be that you have mortgage insurance and now you can pull mortgage insurance off or remove that because now you have 20% equity. Or, we've seen some people that are moving from a conventional loan to a VA loan, and those interest rates are a little bit lower. So you're doing that and removing the mortgage insurance by doing it that way. Accessing equity, that's a huge thing that we're helping a lot of people with still, whether it's a home equity line of credit or a cash out refinance, structuring things to help them to do home improvements or invest and start a new business. They're using real estate. I mean, if you compare it to other financing that you can actually get on the open market, if you look at business financing, you can't beat real estate at actual fixed investment interest rate or the actual terms that you're going to get from that. So having those conversations with real estate investors, with consumers that are trying to access equity is do it. At least look into it. I think when that's what we're having some conversations, understand your options. If it's not now, then when? And can we determine an actual strike rate for you? Okay, I talked with a client this last week, and they could have dropped their rate by about 0.75%. And we looked at it, it was it's about $200 in monthly savings. But based on the cost for the loan would have been about $11,000. So it was those numbers don't quite pencil yet. But if interest rates come down another 1/4 to 3/8, and we reduce our loan closing cost by another $3,000-4,000, this is starting to make a lot of sense. Where my break even on this loan is going to be in the next 9, 12, 18 months rather than 2 years, 2 years plus. So I'd say if you're someone that's looking to drop the payment if you know things are in a better position for you financially, or maybe they're not. Like maybe you don't have enough equity. You should, book a call. We'll have a link here where you can reach out to us, and we'd love to have a conversation just to explore your options.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about our team. Have the conversation. At least find out, is this a fit? Is this a fit for what I'm doing? Because that's one of the things you're going to find here at Renown, that we are more than happy to pencil this out and say this does or does not make sense. And that's what we want to do, is make sure that we're putting people in better situations in the long haul. When it comes to the window that we're seeing right now, right? Because we're starting to hear the word refi, and two questions I want to touch on really quick. One, the refi process is compared to the purchase process so much easier 99.99% of the time. So again, maybe you just purchased a home a couple of years ago, your rate's a little bit higher, but you may qualify for the refi, and you're just like, I don't even want to go through that again. Not even close to the same. The refi process is a beautiful process. The purchase process with us is a beautiful process. Our perfect loan process is there to make you successful. But one of the things I want to hit on is, if someone was to dive into this or consider diving into this, are we staring at a window right now, rate-wise? I mean, again, no one ever has a crystal ball, but are we looking at a window like we might start to see rates creep up again? Or the 2026 forecast is 6 is probably going to be the anchor number. How do you feel about that?
With someone that's really considering, what it looks like, how I'm creating conversation for the consumers and people that I'm talking with is like, the market is giving you a gift. If we can determine that it makes sense, and I think that is where it is. You didn't do anything to get the market where it's at.
Right.
And if we can save you money based off of that, then let's lock it in when
Right.
it makes sense. Now, if it doesn't make sense, I think that's a completely different conversation. And it's like, okay, let's put a pin in it. Let's figure out when it does make sense. But for somebody who's trying to play the market and go like, hey, I want to see if I can get an extra 0.25%. A lot of times you end up losing, not just based off the market getting worse, but you're also losing out on the savings that you can get today. I've had a conversation with a client. Had they refinanced with me a year ago, we're refinancing them now. They missed out on a year of savings for what? An eighth or maybe a 0.25% lower in interest.
Right.
It's going to take them another year or two to catch up to what the savings that they could have had and taken advantage of. So it's interesting when you run those numbers, you look at the cost of waiting and having that full understanding of like, okay, me actually getting started today is where I actually start saving money, not punt it down the road and see, if 6 months from now I get a little bit of a, reduction in interest rate. So taking advantage now, at least when the numbers make sense. And I think that's really what our team does really well is I'll tell you if it doesn't make sense, but if it does make sense, let's give you a clear path forward.
Yeah. Find out if this is the time, if it's your time. That's probably the best advice we have right now, is find out if this time is your time. And so, like I said, we're here. All the contact information is below. Hey, if you love this, if you love our podcast every single week, do all the things, like, share, subscribe, so that you are the first in the know. Hit that notification bell. I have always wanted to say that. I love that. I'm even going to do a ding right here. Ding, hit that notification bell right there. Also, we've got a Rise by Renown podcast that we do too, just where we feature amazing agents and title reps in the area and real estate agents and just great industry leaders. So if you find yourself like, hey, I kind of want to nerd out on the mortgage industry, we are here. If you want to nerd out on the real estate industry, we're here for you as well. So until next week, as always, I am Sean Walker.
And I'm Justice Roberts.
And we will see you next week.
Sharing with real estate agents how to grow loan officers, setting expectations, there's maybe...
And we all know rate is important, right? Because that is a part of the calculation, but is that the only thing? So